Welcome to the G-Lew Show. Hold up. Okay, I had to hit that switch one time for y'all. Welcome back to the G-Lew Show. It is Friday Night Live, and I'm your host with the most, Big G-Lew. We are back for another episode. What up, everyone? Before we get started, everyone knows we're only one day away from the 5th annual G-Lew Show reunion going down tomorrow night, live from Los Angeles. If you got the invitation, you already know where it's going to be, so everyone pull up. We're going to have a great time. With that being said, shout out to my producer, DD Hairston. I am G-Lew. This is the G-Lew Show, and tonight we got a special guest, you know what I mean, the OG from Compton, California. You know what I mean? The home of the G's. And he happens to be an avid lowrider driver, builder, you know what I mean, from a legendary car club, Compton for life. You know what I mean? And he's here tonight to share his story. And we're gonna talk some lowriding because I love lowriders. I love, you know what I mean, all of that. We're gonna talk about his 84 coupe he got. I had an 83 before, so I want to talk to him about that. We just gonna talk some lowriding and culture and some great stuff tonight. So again, welcome to the G-Lew Show. My special guest is here, Mr. Benny. Follow him, BKay _9 on IG and on Facebook. Without any further ado, he is here. What up, sir? How you doing, man?
What's going on?
Man, this is my guy right here, Benny Smith, aka BKay. You go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, man, if you would, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How y'all doing? My name is Benny. Everybody call me dog. BKay. But everybody know me for being and just being raised up out there. And shoot, I'm here to do this interview.
Right, right. First of all, I want to say it's a pleasure to have you here, sir. Shout out to my producer, DD, making it happen. Yeah, we fixed the echo. I'm sorry. Shout out to my producer, DD, for making it happen. Um, man, I want to talk to you. Well, first, shout out, Chris. Hold on. I want to shout out to the people in the chat. We got some people here showing some love, man. You probably know some of these people as well. But shout out to everyone in the chat tonight joining us. What up, USC? Shout out to Jam Marshall. Says here. What up, Jam? Um,
That's my club sister right there.
Hey, what's up, Jam? Thank you for joining us. Shout out to the homie Dorian Banks in the building.
Club
See it.
sister right there.
Okay. Shout out to the Crusted joint. What up, Crust? Emily, the Guzman family, my boy Leo. What up, brother? Uh who else is it? Smokey Khalifas. What up, bro? Chris Watts in the building. What up? Okay.
Shout
So
out. What's up?
what's up? What hub and the dub, right? It's a hub and the dub thing.
What's up?
That's right. So man, you got an interesting story, Benny, for real, man. You've done a lot. You even been a federal prison, man, like 15 years, I think, man. I'm sure it took a lot out of your life.
Right.
But I know you're back now doing great things, working,
Oh, yeah.
man, and just doing a lot of good things. You know what I mean? If you can take us back a little bit about Benny, man, how does it all start for Benny, Mr. Smith?
Well, for Mr. Benny Smith, I was born and raised in Compton. Actually, I was born in San Francisco Hospital, which is Linwood. But It's close enough.
Shout
But I
out to
was raised
Linwood.
in Compton all my life. Um, I was born with, I was raised with my mother and my father,
Okay.
which real father passed when I was 4.5, but I had a stepfather that raised me that's still married to my mother right now today. Actually, they just celebrated, I want to say, 52 years, 53 years anniversary, something like that.
Wow.
But
Congratulations.
I came from a good home. It just, I made my own decisions when I got a little older. But
Right.
I had a I had a nice childhood coming up. I can't complain at all. Actually, some of my friends actually called me spoiled when
Right.
I was
Right.
coming up.
Take us back, man. I want to know, man.
I
Wow.
can't hear you.
Wow. Sorry to cut you off. My bad. What up, everyone? Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. I don't know what's going on there. It's a lot of people up in. What up, Daryl? His and his only. A lot of people checking in. What up, everyone? Tell us, man, a little bit about Compton, man, because you said you born and raised pretty much in Compton. Tell us, man, just some history on Compton, man, because Compton is just such a legendary place for so many different reasons. You know what I mean? But tell us, man, something good about Compton, being that you were born and raised there, bro.
Well, actually, Compton is a small place with like a big like aurora. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody know everybody.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Even though it's like several neighborhoods, before the
right,
neighborhoods and before all the gangs, we all played at park and recreation together. We all played sports. We went to elementary, we went to junior high, etc. Whether you was from one side or the other, but we all know each other because it's so small. That's why they call it the hub. But
right,
everybody grew up with each other. So when you got a certain age, it seemed like everybody went their own way. If you lived over here, you was over from over here. If you was over here, you over here. But before that, we all was friends. You understand? Like everybody knew everybody because, like I
right,
said, we all came up in park. My generation, we all came up in park and recreation. We all played sports together. Whether it was baseball, football, basketball, whatever. I was in the sports real tough. So
right.
I know a little bit of everybody from both sides. And for as like the historic of Compton is just, I mean, you hear the bad about it, but the good about it at the same time is we come together. Compton always came together when it was time,
Right.
and it was always one love, whether it was you was from this side or this side. You had your bad parts of it for the gang banging activities and you know how would come with that. But other than that, we all remain friends though, even through it all. So I could say to me for the good of Compton, it was always love, no matter what. If you grew up with individuals and y'all decided to go y'all separate ways, it was always love, you know?
Right. Right.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing, man. It seems like, man, I appreciate what you're saying because you come from, I mean, the old school, meaning that you know Compton for real, the love. Some people may just
Right.
know it after everything got crazy and haywire. Some people may
Right.
know it today because I know it's changed a lot today with
Yeah.
gentrification. Just period, it's changed a lot, I'm sure. But you taking me back to Compton just sound like the love of Compton and when it was real in the family because, like you said, it is a small place, what 10 square miles, but
Right.
Compton.
You could say,
Oh,
yeah.
Compton got a big voice though. Compton got a big
Yeah,
old voice.
no. That's why I said
And
it.
trend.
It's a small city, but the aurora of the city is huge. It's big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Benny, I'm gonna ask you, what do you think it was about or is about Compton that because we in LA, big LA County, so many major things in LA. But what was it about Compton that took everyone and just made a presence even outside of you got South Central, all that, but Compton just made a different type of presence and birth some of the biggest, people in the game from rap to politics, right? You the president to motherfucking to sports, so many legendary
Right.
sports figures,
Right.
so
Right.
many lowrider legends, all the whole spectrum. What is it about Compton, man, that this little 10 square mile place that did so much?
Me personally, I think is we have a. I mean, not like disrespecting nobody else or put nobody else there. I just think we had a style of our own. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just like I said, we the way we grew up and how we grew up and how it was, not how it turned out. You know what I'm saying? And I
Right.
think a lot of people held on to that when they grew up. You know what I'm saying? So because there's a lot of people in Compton, like I said, we grew up with a lot of two-parent homes. A lot of my friends, we all had two-parent homes. So we all
Right.
had good upbringings. It's just that we chose to go the wrong way when we did. But for us, like upbringing and all that, we had a nice upbringing. So it ain't like we didn't have choices for us good and the bad, That's so I think for us, I just feel like, it was the way we was our upbringing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. It's
Right,
it's it sounds like too, man, when you got the G's like yourself, the OGs like yourself, Compton again started as a place, started like you said how it did, but progressed and moved, 70s, 80s, 90s, more and more, violent and things of that sort. But like you speaking on family, do you think the G's like from your generation, the older ones and everyone who started this, it seems like y'all have a different love. If like you said, I'm sure people broke out in the different families, gangs, but at the end of the day, and went through what y'all went through, I'm sure. But it seems like at the end of the day, for the ones that are still here, I see a lot of mutual respect and love that kind of come back
correct.
together with the older G's, right?
Right.
But
Like,
go ahead, go ahead.
not, all right, like say like, I was gone for a long time, right? So a lot of stuff happened between that time for us, different beef with different hood people that we grew up with, that we was real close with, and that
Right,
that we looked at allies. There's a lot of people that like the younger generation they don't get along with. But like you said, people my age and my generation, we still show that love from back in the day. We don't look at it as how the younger generations look at it now. We still show love and respect to each other. When we see each other, we're gonna greet each other the same way. When we see each other, it's gonna be the same love it always been from back in the 80s. So you're right about that for us, like how stuff kind of broke off, but my era, we still hold on to that.
right. Hey, and Kenny, that kind of leads me. I didn't want to jump into this, really not into too much of this, but it asks my next question: where do you think that fell off? I kind of know, but like with the younger cats, like they seem to just can't get it right at all, hate each other, and then even like they want to just kill, and a lot of them don't even probably a lot of them don't even really know the real history or what's really going on, and it just ain't no way they even see peace or like I don't know, get the mentality of a G. Do you think it takes for them to get older if they do make it to that age, or where do you think it's
My
lost, or why can't the older G's get to the younger homies? I know that a lot of them out the
well,
way. How does that work?
well, for one, I think when for as me growing up, we had a lot of self-respect and a lot of respect for our older generation. Now
Right,
these days, it's starting with the self-respect. I don't think me, this is just my opinion. I don't think that they got a lot of self-respect. So they ain't gonna respect nobody else. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it fell off at. It fell off
yeah,
with the self-respect and then not respecting AGs, just just going off, just doing whatever they want. It start off at their home. It ain't even see, we still respected our parents and stuff when we
right,
was at home. Now it's like they don't even respect their own parents. So how can they respect anybody else? And
right,
they don't respect themselves. So, it starts there.
right. I think you said something really important. I think it goes back to how we were raised. Like you said, back in the day, a lot of us had two parents. Even if you didn't have a two-parent home, you had a more solid home
No.
nation. Mama was work like it was more. It
Right,
was. I saying it ain't working now, but it was still a solid family. You respected your parent, your mom. You know what I mean.
right.
You your mom
Morals.
like had a moral respect. Do you
Right.
think that's a problem too of how these kids are raised? Because the parents ain't like how the parents were in the '80s and
Nah, it's
stuff.
not. It's like the parents is trying to be their friend. So
Right.
that's not going to work right there when you're growing up with your kids and you're trying to be their friends, study their parents. And then, and a lot of the parenting got took away too. You got to think. We used to be able to get disciplined by our parents. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You do something, you can get spanked on the butt or whatever, popped or whatever. You can't do that now. Now they
You
talk
can even
about,
get spanked way back. They even spanked you at school.
right. You can't do none of that no more. So that got a
And-
lot to play with it too,
right,
So
right.
it's like even your teachers used to kind of discipline you at school,
Yeah. Now they
They
scared
never
of
got a lot.
they
Yeah.
scared of the kids now for sure.
Exactly. They're scared of the kids these days, right? Yeah, it's just totally different nowadays. They took a lot, like I said, they took a lot of the parenting away from the parenting. And the kids use that
But
as an advantage.
even though I think it still goes back to what you're saying, it goes back to that respect because the kids they get scared of the kids and the kids crazy now. But to me, these little kids ain't half as crazy as like that era. The older
Right.
homies and that era, it was really going like. But
Now I
people
was
has
going down, but at the same time, we still had I'm gonna go back to what I just said again. Is we still had self-respect, we had respect for our parents, and we had respect for our G's because we watched them before us. You know what I'm saying?
facts. Facts. So that's why I'm saying I'm thinking it takes a village for sure. But that's why I'm thinking that uh that the separate it became because somehow the kids don't have the self-respect the home that starts from a place
Right,
and they're not getting that. So like you said, if you don't have no self-respect and don't respect certain things like even your parents, you definitely not going to respect your teachers or none of that, you know what I mean?
correct,
I don't know how you
correct.
think we can get it. I don't want to stay too much on this, but we're speaking, but how do you think it could ever get back together if it can though?
Man, well, for me, I think it started at the house. It started at home for one, and then I don't know, man. That's a good question because you got a lot of guys like myself, like the older cats. They didn't moved on. They didn't got married.
Right.
They live in a family life. You know what I'm saying? They didn't moved out the city, so they don't be there as much. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
don't know, man. Like I said, I try to lead by example by doing what I do for us, positivity and trying to give them a way. You know what I'm saying? Like I give anybody, like I'm a truck driver, so I give
Right.
anybody that's interested, I'm gonna give them the game on how to get into it if they want to. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a way out that keep a lot of people away from the drama and the bull. You know, if you're doing this type of stuff. So if anybody want it, I always try to give it. I
Right.
always try to give it to them. So I mean, that's one way. But
Right.
like I said, it got to start at the home for sure. It got to
Yeah.
start at home. Right.
Yeah, it's just rough, and like a big part of it too. That's what I was saying, and you said a lot of people just out the way. A lot of the older, because you got not even that they want to be like you said they might have moved or just like you said, if you've been away, someone like you 15 years, when you come home, you ain't got time to be hanging out and doing all this. You
Right.
trying to get to it, man. What you need to do, make up for this lost time and get to work, and so a
Exactly.
lot of times the older homies are out the way, but at the same time like you said, it's still like almost like these your lost kids because the homies that started these gangs and neighborhoods, now they still there, and the kids is just like don't really have no real leaders. That's why they all out of control. Even though
Right.
nowadays it seems kind of worthless, but at the same time, this is something that was started, and these kids are holding on to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And it's like that's a good question. But like I said, I don't come around as much
Right,
as I used to for is like, besides the lowrider scene or whatever, because I ain't doing no hanging out. That's a wrap for me. I
right,
done did
right,
all that 1,000
right.
times.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? But at the same time, when I do see the youngsters out there, I'm gonna give it to them. You know, uh, I'm gonna give it to them. If it's up to them if they want to take it or not. You know,
Right, right. That's all you can
Right.
really do. You know what I mean?
That's
That's all
all
you
you
can.
can do. Yeah,
That's all you can do. Benny
you have to
State.
tell them. You don't want to go that route because I'd
Right,
have been there and done that, and it ain't nothing. So but you can go this route and you can avoid all that. You know,
right. Tell us a bit. I don't want to get too much in like nothing deep, but I know you did 15 years away, brother, and did that in the feds. So I know the feds work differently. Ain't like they can have you anywhere in the country. So how was that doing some? I mean, 15 years too. I know people move around a lot. How was that for you? That experience? I'm sure you did time before, but I know fed time is different, and now you got 15 years away from your family, man. How was that for you, man?
Man, I mean, actually, it was rough for us, like just not being able to go to my kids' graduation and be there when they was graduating and doing all the
Right,
school activities and just, just seeing them do, let's grow up. It was rough
right,
on that. But
right.
for the time, I just did it. It was like, man, you had to have patience because 15 years, actually, it was 15 years, 8 months, 188
Oh,
months, right?
wow. Yeah, I
But
know them feds go by those months. You hear those months, you be like, whoa. Yeah, I mean,
right,
it'd be like it's 10 year old or whatever it is. But yeah.
yeah. But I I grew up in there. I went in like 26, got out when I was 40.
Mm.
So
How was that experience far as like, did they have you moving around and were you able to stay kind of
yeah,
close to home? How was that?
no, I started off at home. I started off at Terminal Island.
Terminal Island.
Yeah, got in trouble. They shipped me as far as where you could ever go, which was Raybrook, New York, which was all the way 2 hours from Canada.
Wow.
And then from Raybrook, New York, I made it to Taft, which was like I want you to say that's like Central California, something
Right,
like
right.
that. Yeah, and then I got in trouble again. Then they sent me to Yazoo, Mississippi. I was
Wow.
there. There from Yazoo, Mississippi, I made it back to California, which was Lompoc,
Hmm.
and then I got in trouble again. And then they sent me back to Yazoo, Mississippi, and then from there I went to Talladega, Alabama, and that's where I finished off.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. That's crazy. How is it? I mean, I guess you have no choice but to adapt, but how is it going from where you grew up, or anywhere in California? I'm sure you would have been cool with to way to New York, 2 hours away from Canada. You was way up there.
I was
I
way up
mean,
there, right?
how how was that,
I was
man?
way up there. Well, for the weather, I never did adapt to that because it was cold as hell up there. But
Right.
for as like just doing time and just around other like a whole other coast. I mean, it was cool. I mean, they gave me love. If you straight up and they gonna give you love. A man is a man wherever you go. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
Fact.
they treated me with love and respect, and I gave it. You give it, you get it. You know.
Hey,
So
I always had a question about this, how the feds work. I've been dealing with people, the feds for many years, but how I always wanted to know. I mean, I'm sure because it's federal, so it's nation. Federal is the country. But why did they personally ship people to different places like that? And how does that work for people like? No, it's federal. Jail is jail, but for people who can't, everyone's not blessed to have things like that or help when they move you way somewhere like that to New York or wherever they move you across the country.
right. Well, I mean, you one thing about the feds, they got like unicorn jobs and stuff like that where you could, if you ain't got nobody, you can kind of take care of yourself in there.
Okay.
It just depends on what kind of job you got, and then
Right.
what kind of hustle you got on the yard. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't got nobody, that's what you're gonna have to return. You're gonna have to resolve to. You're gonna have to either work in unicorn, you got to have a hell of a hustle, or you gonna meet somebody. They gonna somebody there that you got close with, gonna introduce you to somebody, and then you gonna make it happen from there. But other than that, that's your only choices if you ain't got nobody. You know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what's the people hear different stuff about the feds. A lot of people, I mean, at the end of the day, jail is prison, but you hear the difference between being in a federal institution opposed to a state, a little bit better facilities and care and all that. But I know some out here are worse. It depends on what type of uh Penn, like USP, different ones. So I don't know about the people who say that about federal prisons. What do you
Well,
think about?
my in my situation, for my experience, when I first went to the feds, it was way different from state. It was like night and day. It was sweet, But as the
Right,
time went, it started turning just like the state. So probably like when I left, it was no different from the state. It just
wow,
it was no different, But when I first started, I was like, cool. If I'm gonna have to do 15 years like this,
right,
let's do it. It was cool, but as the years went on, it started changing because they
mhm,
started giving everybody Fed cases. So it was basically like turning it like a state prison. They start building them up everywhere, and they would start running them like damn near like the state.
right. Wow,
And so I can imagine
wow.
how it is now because I done been out now like 13 years, maybe something like that. 13 years.
Right.
Yeah.
And then now, yeah, it seems like they are just putting more and more people. Like I see a lot of people get just cases or for nothing or gang cases, RICO cases, and it could be a couple people are heavy, but a lot of times they're just giving it to people in the gang, and they might not be doing it too much like that. But now they're in the federal system.
Right. It's like a business. You know how the state used to be in the 80s, early
Yeah.
90s, 80s. It was like a big business. That's how the feds
Right.
is nowadays. It's a big business, right? So the more
Wow.
bodies they get, the more money they make. That's how they feel.
Right. And then their conviction rate is so high. I mean, it's hard to beat them boys, man. You really got to
They
just take a deal.
98 point what? It's like a 98 point something conviction rate. Because
Something, yeah,
majority of
yeah,
everybody
yeah,
they did. A lot of people
yeah,
don't go to trial with them because they scared they gonna get
yeah.
a, a football number. So they plead out.
Right. And I
Right.
think they
So that's
already
what makes
come.
their conviction rate.
And
That's what
I
makes
think the feds already come with like mandatory max minimums and like stuff when they already chart. So they're not giving you too much so like you said, you got to take a deal.
Yeah, they got guidelines. They got
Guidelines.
guidelines and mandatory minimums, like you said.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, enough of that. I got a question from the chat. Denise asked, "How did your kids welcome you when you came home?"
Well, actually, it was a good welcome. It wasn't bad. They were just happy I was home. You know,
Right. Right.
like my youngest kids, I want to say they understanding is a little bit rougher than my older ones. Like
Right.
my older kid, I got 5 kids. 3 of them is like older, and 2 of them is they the youngest. It's kind of rough. My relationship with them is not as good as the ones
Right. Got you.
that I had. Yeah, right. So, but that come with the parents too, the mother. So,
Yeah, it's a lot. I get it, brother. I'm just a
right.
question from the chat. I know that could be sensitive, little thing. They probably
No,
just
it's, it's all right. I'm open for that. Yeah,
right,
it's all
right.
right.
Okay. Shout out to you, Denise. Um, so you home now. We just kind of just going giving them a little bit of brief history and all that. So you
Right.
home, you come home after 15 years, man. How was that? Because a lot has changed in 15 years. A
Yeah,
lot. I know you've been home. You said 13 years now, which ain't that long. Time flies. But so
it's
you
fine.
saying after about around early 2000s, mid 2000s, this
2008, actually, from 94 to 2008, in like the end of it.
Wow. Yeah. So a lot has changed since then. You know what I mean? How was it for you coming back home and everything and seeing seeing Compton? I know Compton has changed a lot even since you've been home.
Right.
How were things for you coming home, man? The adjustments.
Well, actually, by the time I came home, man, my parents had sold the house in Compton and
Oh, okay.
moved. They did
Okay.
moved out to like Fontana area. So,
Right.
I mean, I went back to Compton, but for as like my parents and all my immediate family, they was all up toward Fontana area, Rialto area, San Bernardino. So,
Right. Right.
of course, I came out this way with them. you know.
Right.
But I still was going back to Compton when I first came home. I was going back to Compton like daily, every day. So,
Right.
but it wasn't good for me. You know
Right.
why? Because I got in trouble again. I got violated and went back to prison for 30 months.
For 30 months?
30 months because I tried to come home and make up for all the time that I missed.
Wow.
But that 30 months was a wake up call because I felt stupid. I felt this small when I went back. You know what I'm saying? So right then, when I went back, I told myself I'm finished. It's over.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Wow.
Only
Wow.
good thing I did when I got out in 2008, because I stayed out 2 years. I stayed out 24 months. I went to trucking school and got my CDLs, right? But I never used it. I was still trying to play catch up from what I missed, which you could never get it back.
Right.
So when I went back and when I violated and I went back, I just thought about it. And I was like, man, you know what? So, sometimes, how the saying goes, sometimes you get sick and tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got sick and tired of going to jail. Been doing that stuff for like a lot, seemed like a lifetime. So after
Right.
that one, I said, when I get out of here, it's no more. I'm changed. It's a wrap. And that's what
Right.
I did. Yeah.
Man, congratulations to you for that, man. Finally, I know it
Appreciate
takes some time, man, but man, I know after doing 15 and then like you said, having to go back, that gotta,
it. Yeah.
like you said, if I don't do it, I don't, what I mean, and you getting older, you know what I mean? It's like
Right.
then you realize too, ain't nothing really out there like that. You know what I mean? Like you said, what you
Yeah.
chasing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
gone already.
Correct.
Can't get back,
It's going.
you know? Um,
Yeah.
wow. Um, let me ask you about your love for lowrider. Were you always? How long have you been in the car or been into lowriding, bro?
Man, I've been in low rides. I've been to low rides since I was like 14 years old, man. I
Mm,
actually fell in love with low ride, man. I had an uncle named Chris. They used to call him Joe Mo. It's my mother brother. He had a 64 Chevy that he used to just wipe on, man. It was so clean back, he used to just wipe on it, lay it in my grandmother's driveway and just wipe on it, right? Listen to
right,
these oldies. And I used to be over there because I used to go to my grand, back in the days, all the kids
right,
used to go to grandmama's house back in the days, right? So I
right,
used to always say, just watch him wipe on that car, man. I used to be sitting on the porch, just look, he listening to his 8 tracks tapes because it was 8 tracks and stuff back then. He used to wipe on
right,
that car, man. And I used to be like, man, one day when I was young, like 4 or 5 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old. I used to be like, man, I'm getting me one of them one day, you know?
right.
And man, growing up and then, because that was when we stayed on 119th and went Mona Park
Okay,
Hood. We moved further into Compton, you know, and then my brother, he bought that car from my uncle. So just me seeing that and then growing up and seeing all the people in Compton used to low ride, like I was influenced by like some real low riders. You know,
right,
I want to tell you Turtle, rest in peace from Santana, Gangster,
right.
Tweet from Spook Town, JJ, Robert Earl, uh Wolf from Spook Town. These are all the cats that I for as low ride. So ain't matter of fact, even on the other
Right,
side, Mobile and then for Fruit Town, them all the cats they used to know. Oh, I'm gonna take you way back too. Folsom, he had a clean low rider. Uh
okay,
uh Terry Tarzan, he lived around the corner from me. He had clean low
right,
rider. All these dudes I seen with these cars, and it just made me, it was like it was natural. So as soon as I got old enough, I think I was like 14, 15 when I first bought my first shit. I went half with one of my partners. He resting in peace right now. His name Raymond Theus. Call him Payback. Me and
payback.
him went
Rest in
half
peace.
on a 65 Chevy. And we used to keep it. a week apart. I used to park the car down the street from my house because I didn't want my parents to know I had it, you know.
Right, right,
But
right.
he wind up, I guess he got tired of us sharing the car, and he was just like, man, just give me my half, you can have the car.
Mm.
And shoot, this rest is history. Just went from there. I went from 65 to 64. And once I got my first 64, and it was over, I fell in love with them. I mean, if you ask anybody in Compton, they'll tell you, man, I used to gang bang out of 64 shits. They all wasn't cut yet, but for us,
Right,
like,
right.
yeah, that's all I ever had from the age of 15 to now. This is my first Cadillac I ever had. First luxury lowrider I ever had right now. Other than that,
Wow.
it's always been Foes.
Foes. Well, hey, Benny, let me ask you this while we on the foes, right? 64 Chevy people Impala. What is it about that 64 that, I mean, I know it's a beautiful car, especially when it's low. It's just different. But what is it personally? And you know these things because you're a lowrider enthusiast and all that, right? What is it about the 64 that became so legendary and popular? And why do even people like? Because it can look good to people, but obviously it has to be a good car too. And people like. What is it about the 64 that is so legendary?
For me, I think it's the shape and the way
Okay.
it's laid. You know,
Okay.
I think it's the shape for me. I mean, the 63 and the 64, they basically damn near similar, but I don't know, man. It's just something about that four to me. I
Right.
like the shape of it. I like the way, the look. I just like I just like that shape of the 64, man.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. I would lay. It's just something about it's no other lower car that can lay that just lays like the four, man. It's just it is, you know. Um,
Yeah, I just like the way it's set, man. That just once, like I said, once I got my first one, I fell in love, man. I mean, man, it's just nothing like that 64 Chevy to me. I know it's like it's more popular cars than that, but that just was my choice, you know?
right, right,
Right.
right,
Like I like a lot of Chevys. I done had a 62 before, you know, but man, something about that 64 for me.
at 64. Uh, Tell me about. I just want to ask you this briefly. Then I'm going to go back to the fours and some other cars. But you say you got a Caddy now, a Cadillac '84. Always been personally. I've had some Chevys, but I'm a Cadillac man. I've had a lot of Cadillacs. I like just the for me this with the difference with the Caddies. You can do all that, but it has the what do you, the luxury side to it a little per se. You know the Caddies you rolling smooth, the leather and all the digital shit back in the day even. You know,
Right.
but what is it for you about the Lax? How do you like your Caddy now that you have your first one opposed to all Chevys?
Well, actually, I'm starting to like this car too. Guess that's a good question that you asked that because a lot of people ask me like, "Dang man, dog, you don't miss your foe," and I'm like,
Right,
man, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm always love the 64 Chevy, but right now I'm feeling this lack because I'm trying to get it the way I want to get it, and it's getting there slowly but surely. But it's like, yeah, ain't nothing like that ride, man. That ride is like it's a whole different ride, man. You
right,
know,
right,
and it's like I'm kind of feeling it right now. I guess maybe because I'm older now or something. I don't know, but
right,
I don't know. But I like the ride. The ride is very nice, like you said. It's very
right,
nice.
right, right. Yeah, shout out to the caddies, man. Um, and I used to have an '83, man. I love mine was a four door though, but I just love that '83, man. It was just
He like the ride. Huh?
yeah, the ride is just yeah, it's just it, I don't know, man. Yeah. You have 84, they're pretty similar. What
Right.
is your take on even the caddies, they stop wow, that's what I don't like. I understand now it's a newer thing. They only make them sports kind of cars. They stopped making the big caddies. I know they cut the Broms off years ago, but they don't make any more big caddies, man. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean,
Even
I
Chevys, they
really
don't make
don't
no big cars anymore. I understand it's
like the
classic. I don't know.
big bodies.
Yeah,
They
big body.
cool. They cool. But if I was like the caddy that I would want the year like the 84, the 81, 82, 83, 84. That was
Right,
the year that I would want it.
right.
you know. But I
So
don't
you
know,
don't care
man.
for you like those 80 ones better than the 90s ones. They started moving with
Yeah.
the different bodies. A lot
I
of
mean, the
people didn't.
Euros is cool. They got some like the two-door Bros and stuff like that. They cool because they
Right,
still similar to the 80 body.
right, right,
But when they start doing the big bodies, I mean, I mean, I like them. I admire them. Other people that have them, but I rather prefer. I prefer, you know, the 80 style study the 90 style. Yeah.
right. Got you, got you,
And I
got you.
like two of those.
Kudos. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm more into, like I said, I would like another 83 or 82, 83, 84, either one. But I would want a two. I want a coupe because mine was a four door, but I would
Right,
want a coupe, man. Coupe is nasty. Ooh wee.
right, right.
Yeah. Um, but going back a bit, you said you had a lot of you had a 63, 64, and all these, but you said
62,
all of them.
64,
Okay.
65,
How was it for that first time when you first got your first car? I don't know which one, but when you got it cut and
65.
did all that,
Oh my,
how was that,
that was a
man?
Ford. My
Okay.
first 64 Chevy cut, man. I don't know if you ever heard you. I don't know if you probably know you heard of Orleans, right? Orleans
Yeah,
Hydraulics. That's
yeah,
used to
yeah. Back in the day, people don't know about the Orbeez, man.
be.
Go ahead. Go.
That's who cut my first car. Well, anyway, uh, I was shooting dice, man, with some guys, and I think I
Okay.
won probably like 25,000 in the dice game, right?
Hmm.
And one of my partners that I used to be close with, named Robert Earl,
Right.
he had a floor that he was getting done. He had just did everything, painted, uh, interior, and it was in Arnie's getting a brand new fresh hydraulics and stuff. So when I came home, because we was living together, we had a spot
Right.
together. When I came home, when I told him, nigga, I just came up, I just won all this money shooting dice. He was like, nigga, you want to buy the phone? And I was like, you serious? Because like I said, I've been having phones all my life, but at this time, I ain't never had one that was front back yet. They
Right.
just all, I used to just heat the springs up, lower the springs, and lower the car, and
Right.
roll like that. But he was like, yeah, that's how I bought my first phone from him. I went straight to Artie's. I paid him, went to straight to Artie's and get it from Artie's, brand new. And man, when I got that car, I fell in love, man. For his hydraulics,
Right.
I never wanted a stock Chevy again after that.
Right.
Yeah,
Is that a feel like that's what I'm saying too? Is that almost like an addiction once you finally get your
yeah,
car cut and you get that feel and you can hit that switch? Is it in an addiction?
definitely. It was addiction. Hell yeah, it was addiction. I never wanted a stock Chevy again after that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and tell us, okay, but on the flip side, tell us about, because I think even having hydraulics, people don't know around the world, the country. That is a pastime and a culture, here, and people. But
Yeah, it's like
over
it's
the
a
years,
hobby.
it became a trend. People getting it all over the place, but they don't know. But they don't know the difference. Like you said, it's a culture. People are doing it, but it could become expensive as well. And I think people are realizing that, and some people probably fell off with it. But like you said, talk about that side of it that people don't know, like keeping your car up and a lot of how expensive it could be and maintenance and all that.
But right now, it's hell of expensive. You know, for it's like building them, it's hell of expensive. I don't care if you're building a Cutlass right now; it's expensive as hell. But for us building a Chevy right
Right,
now, man, it's like it's way different from when we first started. You know what I'm saying? Like, just say I'm gonna
right,
give you an example. Like hypothetically speaking, say like you used to be
right,
able to put a clean car together for 25, 30,000, right? And that's with the
right.
everything, chrome, undies, everything. Now you can't even put a chassis for that damn near. That's how expensive it got. So you
Damn.
looking at every bit of 75,000 to 100,000 to get a clean street low ride. For it's like
Wow.
paint, chrome, just everything, just a straight ground up bill. You
Right,
talking about
right,
if you ain't doing it yourself and you taking it to shop, yeah, you talking about some crazy dough right now. When it used to be, you could spend 25, 20,000 and you own, but not
right,
no
right,
more.
right.
Yeah, that's the difference
Hey,
now.
right. But on the flip side, I see that people are selling these cars now too. They build them up and then you can sell them for a lot of money for people,
So
across the country or even overseas. A lot of all these other countries that want lowriders. So I guess it's a good hustle too if you can
it
stand to
is.
do that,
It
right?
is. It is. Yeah, it is. If you, yeah, you could damn near double your money for sure. If you're
Right,
selling them, like you said, overseas or some Japan or
right,
whatever. And then you was even getting money out here when people was getting all that PPP money, but everybody ain't got that money no more. So they
right,
coming
right,
back to reality. They coming back down to reality a little bit, but they still expensive, especially to
right,
build.
right,
Yeah, you
right,
can
right.
still, and it depends on what year too.
Hmm.
So yeah, but they're expensive as hell for sure.
What what you think about being that you a real lowrider build cars? Hey Latoya, you got a lot of people in here, man. I know you can't see all the comments. You'll be able to see it later when you look back at it, but you got a lot of
Right,
family and
right.
people in here showing love, brother. But
Yeah, I hit a lot of people. I hit a lot of people with the link. So
okay,
I'm glad that they
they in here
shine
tonight,
out
man.
and they support us. Right. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
A lot of them in here. I know you'll look back at it later. You'll be able to see it. But what was I gonna ask you? Oh yeah, what do you think about being that you a real, you a real one when it comes to this, and you talk about how much money it takes and stuff to be right. What do you think, or even your like people of your community when y'all do this shit for real, and then you get out there like you say, you put a lot of money into it, you want it right, but there's a lot of people low riding, but everyone probably ain't on that level. A lot of people cut corners and just kind of put. I see gangster talking about a lot of people be out there looking, and how do you approve or how should it be for people to really bring their shit out? Because a lot of people just probably just get their shit cut, throw a little bit of paint or some rims, and just come on out there. You know what I mean? How do you guys look at uh, people who don't go all the way with it and kind of half step? How is that viewed?
Well, for me, man, to be honest, I mean, everybody ain't in a position to do all that stuff. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So,
right,
and they still want to enjoy low ride, enjoy the culture. So, me personally, you know, it's whatever for is what you can do. You know what I'm saying? As long as you just ain't coming out there just on no raggedy stuff, but for as you can't some people can't do everything. Gangster, he built quality cars. He been doing it all his life. You know what I'm saying? His standard
yeah,
is like way up
high,
there compared to a lot of other people. But at the
yeah,
same time, for me, I just if you want to get out there and you want to do it, I mean, long as you ain't like I said, you ain't coming out there doing no raggedy riding. I mean, it's all right.
right.
You just build
But I mean,
your car represent you.
right.
That's how I look.
And,
Right,
and like you said, I think people, even like you said, if you ain't in a position, because like I'm sure you ain't doing what you was doing years ago. Gangster ain't even
correct,
out. He ain't getting the money he used to. But I think when you have, like you say, the love, it'll just may take longer, but you're still gonna make your shit nice
right,
to your
right.
standard.
And then some people
Longer
they
time.
just add on as they go. You feel me? Because
Right.
like you said, it ain't like it was back in the days where you could just go. You know?
Right. That's a fact. That's a fact. So it got to be appreciation and the love. That's really what I'm
Oh
getting
yeah,
to.
for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us, man, about your car club, man. Let's get into that. We got a lot of your members in the chat too. Tell us about your car club, Compton for Life, man. A little bit of history on that for the people who don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, Compton for Life, we actually started in probably like 92.
Okay.
I mean, during that time, Compton Majestics was popping. It was they still popping, but they was popping. That's like one of the big clubs that was out of Compton. And at the time, we I don't know, we didn't want to be like a lot of clubs be like political. And at the time when we started our club, we wasn't trying to be like so political with it. We just wanted to have fun. We was young, having a gang of money. We just wanted to get out there and have some fun and represent where we was from, which was the city of Compton. So study joining the big clubs like Majestics or whatever. We just started kind of like it was a few of us that hung out together. Like I said, that was getting money. And then shoot, we just started it. We started first we had Compton Life. And then we was like,
Okay.
nah, that was like our first plat. And then one of the members, one of the founders, because it was like five of us, one of the original founders, like, man, let's go with Compton for life. And he drew up a plaque, and we was like, yeah, we like that. So once we came out, because we came out with some nice cars. We came out with some nice cars. They was nice, clean, and hot, because that's what we was into, a lot of like street hopping, you know what I'm saying? So when a lot of people from the city seen that Compton for life, it was like a catch. It was so catchy. They wanted to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So it was like it just grew.
Right.
It just grew. And for like 2 years strong, from like 92 to 94, we was out there. Anybody tell you, I don't care where they was from uh Grooving for Life, 111, Stylistics, Damu Riders. These is the club, Mafia for Life. These was the main club that was out there back then. Majestics, they'll tell you when we came,
Right.
when Compton for Life came, we came. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of us got caught up and took vacation. That's when we all went on vacation. So the club kind of like died. It was like a few people trying to keep it alive, but it wasn't like how we had it. So it died. And then when I came home, I fired it back up. Nobody, and that was the original members in the club was like around. They like all went when they got out the feds. They all went their separate ways. Nobody was, but I came home because all the time I was in the feds, I was saying I'm gonna start the club back up when I get out. And when I
Right.
came home, that was one of my missions. I fired it back up, and when I fired it back up, it just caught on. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that was part of the club, that was another clubs came back, and people that was in the Lowrider, they started wanting to be a part of it. So it just grew. And here it is. From 2008 to 25. We
Uh,
we still we still going. Yeah.
that's right. Shout out to Compton for life. Let me ask you this: with these car clubs, just like you spoke on how Majestics was, especially in the city, little political and all that. How was that for y'all coming out as a new club? Does it start? Because I know car clubs are it's a club of brothers and all that, and escape from the gangs. But do you get a little bit of the political, like, or just like y'all coming out new? Were you getting resistance? Were people not respecting y'all? Like, how does that work when you come in as a new club,
Now
especially?
actually it was love. Cause there was a few car clubs in Compton at the time. You had Compton Finest, you had Compton Majestics, and then us. And four is like, no, we didn't get no disrespect. It was all love. Like when we was out there in LA or wherever the scene was at the time, it was like we all became one. But you just had, you know, we all represented Compton, even though you had the Compton Majestics, you had the Compton Finest, and you had Compton for Life. We all came
Right,
out as a unit. You know what I'm saying?
especially,
Even though you had your own.
especially when you went to different cities and shit, right? I'm sure.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So it
yeah,
was all. It was all. We never got no disrespect or felt disrespect. It was always love.
right.
It was. We never got no disrespect or nothing like that. Because the way we came all so hard, man. You know what I'm saying? And we was out there representing like the way we was representing. It was like you couldn't do nothing but give it respect. You know?
Right.
Right.
Hey, and how does one? I know back in the day, like even to become, it's hard. It wasn't easy becoming bigger groups. I don't know your club or whatever, but how was it for members to become a part? Because like I know it used to be a certain standard. You had to have your car, or I don't know. You know what I mean? For someone that doesn't know, how does it work for someone to become a part of a club?
I like for us, like I know a lot of clubs got higher standard than us because, like I said, a lot of people ain't able to do cars like certain people. You know what I'm saying? Like different club, you know. But for as my club, as long as you got nice paint, you don't have to have chrome undies. I prefer it, but you don't have to. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? As long as you got nice paint, nice interior rims, you just looking clean, tight car, you all right. We ain't so hardcore when it comes to that, you know.
Okay. 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 And like say when someone becomes in the club, do you guys like have where like I know you're all brothers and all that. Do you have people within the club that do work on the cars? You guys help each other out, or like how does that work?
We got we got a few brothers in the club that know they stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
we help each other out when we get a chance. If all it is a phone call. If somebody call and we ain't working, or because we got a lot of people in the club that work, like drive trucks, and some
Right.
actually work in hydraulic shops. You know what I'm saying? They build a
Right.
lot of these cars that's on the street right now. But
Right. Okay.
if we do call and they available, you best believe we gonna help one another for sure. Yeah.
That's that's right. That's right. What would you say, man, is your the biggest change in low riding? Because like, I mean, it's always that's the thing in Southern California. It's always a culture, so it's always there. But it's been ups and downs. At one time, kind of fell back, seemed like a little bit, and people were doing other things. But it's come back around full circle, you know. But what has been your
And
biggest? You think your change over the years with low riding, bro?
well, I mean, to be honest, man, I think right now lowrider is at its all-time high. That's
Yeah.
just my opinion. To me,
Yeah.
I think right now lowrider at its all-time high, man. It's cars out there. It's a lot of people with cars, even females, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the only difference that I see from back then to now is like that's a lot of like say like radical. It's a lot of radical now. Like back
Mm,
then it was like a, I don't know for as the radical game, they call it, I don't know if it's street or whatever, but back then that's considered radical because back then it was for us, it was like it was just all gay. People didn't put weight in their car and
right.
people didn't do a lot of that stuff. Like right now, they do a lot of that stuff, which, I guess that's another category of the low rider. They took it to another level, I guess, when I was gone. But when I was on the street, it was like it was more street. It was more street than that, like radical. You know, that's what it seemed like to me. It just I don't know if you want to call that advanced because then they have piston pumps and all that stuff, and we definitely didn't put 1,000 pounds of lead them in the bumpers, and then we didn't do none of that.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the only thing I really see different. But for its popularity, I think that is man, it might be at its all-time high right now. Like I said, it's very
Yeah.
popular right now.
Yeah.
It always been popular in California, for its,
Yeah.
the lowrider scene. But
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
it's
But
really
but
it's really
that's why I say it's a difference because it's always a culture. But it was a time too that it seemed like it's always going on. But like like I think with the generations, it's a time where like say that even the different generations coming out, the youngsters, even with everything they were doing, trying to push certain stuff to the back. Oh, we ain't on this. No, pushing this to the wall. We ain't on this. We on different shit, fly shit, won't do won't, and trying to make the OG shit take a back seat.
that's
But that
another thing,
go ahead.
right? That's another thing. I could see that it ain't like how when we was coming up and we was young and we was into that. It ain't a lot of youngsters that's really in the low ride, like you said.
Right,
It's like from what I see, it's like a lot of people that was into it back then. Just say a lot of people that went away and had to do a lot of time. It's like they all
right,
got out and got back into it. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So it ain't a lot of youngsters into it like how we was when we was young. That's for sure. They into like you said, the fast stuff, the
right,
burnouts, the
right,
fly stuff, whatever. But there ain't a lot of youngsters that's into low ride like how we was. They ain't on that. That's
right.
that's a difference too. See, when we was coming up, we wanted low ride just like how the big homies and the older homies was, because it's a culture, it's part of our lifestyle.
Yeah.
But somewhere it kind of broke the cycle a little bit somewhere in there.
You right, cause that me too. From a kid, man, I was always in like amazed, man, and loved it. Like to this day, I want to, what I mean. It's like that's just that's it, man. For me, like that's it, bro. Like it's nothing like it. So, like you said, the kids are
Man,
different. But
right.
speaking on that, the kids, what they're doing, what do you think about now? even up to recently, I heard it was some accidents. But these kids were you know, where people are low riding on Broadway, it's only a few spots, but they're coming through with the burnouts and the sideshow type thing and all that, the takeovers that they call them, and but they're kind of
Right.
mixing it with the low riding scene, which could come. You know, I know the youngsters like it, but it becomes a hassle, even to now where
Me,
they're kind of trying to shut it down again.
me personally, when they come to that burnout stuff, I mean, I understand that that's what they like and that's what they like, but it's like, I think maybe they should find their own
Yes, yes,
place and their own dates to do what they do. Even if they want to do it on a Sunday, just find them another location, a safer location at that. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Because it's really not cool y'all doing that, they doing that stuff, and then they running into these people cars and they put all this money into these cars. You know what I'm saying? And that could cause a major problem.
That
That
could
could be
cause some
prevented.
serious. That could cause some serious shit too, because people
Right.
ain't
That's
playing
what I'm talking
car.
about.
You
That
the car, man.
right. Because you got some people that spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a car, and they spend thousands of dollars a car, and you come and crash it, and then some of them dudes probably can't even pay for that,
Right, right.
so that caused problems, like you said. So I don't know. Just for us back to the initial question, I just think the Go Fast donut guys, they should find their own area and let us have our own area, and that'll just be that, you know.
Right, right. I agree. I agree, man. They just need their own air, and I think sometimes it's gonna take for people, the older homies, because I know they come through there. People, most of the people, or the older homies, ain't liking it. But like you said, what can I
Right.
do? You know what I mean? You kind
It's
of got to let them.
nothing you can exactly. It's really nothing you can really do because
Yeah,
it's open street. It's a free street, you know. So it's really like you said, it's really nothing we can do. But at the same time, if you're gonna put some respect on it,
yeah.
y'all do y'all thing over wherever, and we gonna do ours wherever, and just keep it like that.
Right, right. I think though, if enough people, because one person can't really do it, but if enough people
You
kind
know,
of stand like, "Hey, man, we ain't had y'all shut that down, man," like they'll get the message because it's
right?
just I don't know.
They tried it for a minute. It seemed like it was working for a minute, but then, like you said, a couple of weeks ago, they didn't smash somebody cars out there.
That's I seen that, man. I was like, wow, you know what I mean? See, that's what I'm saying. That ain't cool. And then I think
And
it's
then
mixing.
now, I
Oh, go
seen
ahead,
a
go ahead.
video. I seen a video with the youngsters talking crazy, talking about you can't stop them from doing this and blah blah
Yeah,
this and blah. I mean that that's
that's a
where the
problem.
disrespect come in.
That's a problem. Exactly, because then you don't want to take it there, and people now getting hurt. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
that people when you get, you got families and stuff like
yeah.
that. You ain't trying to get took away from that because of knucklehead trying to disrespect
Right.
you or whatever. So it's like, man, it's damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah,
It's like,
you don't.
man, it's crazy. But at the
Yeah, it
same
is,
time,
bro.
you can't go for no disrespect either.
Facts, facts. So sometimes it's best to, when you try to find your best way to stay clear of it. You know what I mean? Because like you say, you ain't
Right.
going for it. You don't. So it's like you just try to stay clear of it because it's a like you say, damn if you do, damn if you don't situation. Man, let me ask you about this though, because you even spoke about this too. You're building or working on a bike too. When is the even though you're a natural low rider, when does your love come for the bike, the Harleys and things like that? Because that's a whole. Even though I know that's been around, but that's a thing now that's very big too. And some cats be
Right.
having. I wasn't a big bike dude, but some of them Harleys be beautiful, man. You know what
Well,
I mean?
actually, for me, when I was a kid, I grew up riding dirt bikes. I grew up on that stuff. I grew up riding motorcycles and dirt bikes. I grew up on it, so I always had love for motorcycles.
Okay.
So when I came home, like you said, a lot of people was into the bikes, and the beauty of them, man, it just caught my attention because I always liked the motorcycles anyway. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So, for me, I mean, I wouldn't join the motorcycle club or nothing because nothing against it, but I,
Right.
I'm all right. I'm all right just with the car club.
I hear a lot of stuff. What is it about these? I hear a lot of stuff about these bike clubs. So that's a whole different level, huh? With the
Yes,
car club.
yes, yeah.
Wow.
I can't hang out like that. I didn't got to. I can't hang out at a party. It seems like they just party a lot. They got it. they be out a lot. You know, I ain't around like that, so I wouldn't be
Right.
able to do that. You know, I'd be on the road a lot. So
Right.
and then
Right.
you know, I'm just not into the like the party scene like that no more. I guess I done got older, so I'm more laid back. You know, I don't mind going out socializing, like I said, on a Sunday every now and then. But for as like, you know, in that bike scene, you be out every night damn near. It's always a club somewhere. So
Right. Right. Right.
yeah.
That's more
But I
social.
just like ride. Me personally, I just like riding because I grew up on them, like I said, you know.
Right, right. So does that ever take, it don't sound like it, but I got to ask, will that ever overtake the low riding, being that you're a bike lover now on the Harleys? They still ain't nothing like a low rider, right?
Yeah. It'll never.
Right,
Not for me, it won't. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right, right.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah.
That's what's up. So tell us about this caddy you working on, man. This 84, man. Like tell us what's going on with this caddy, man, and what do you got? What's the plans for it? What's gonna be special about this 84, especially since it's your first time really with a caddy. Shout out to the LA Giants. What up, loved ones? Go ahead,
Oh,
bro.
that's my partners right there. Them my little partners right there, man.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah.
back and
Salute.
Joey. Them my partners right there.
Play a hand, boy.
They watch me through this journey right here. Yeah,
Okay. Salute, bros.
yeah. But okay, for the Cadillac, man, actually, man, I felt on some hard times. I sold my 64 Chevy and my Harley, right? Because I own a trucking company called BK's Trucking.
Okay.
And it got kind of rough for me. So to save my business, I sold my Chevy. I sold the Chevy and I sold the bike. And I bought the Cadillac because it was, you know, of course it was less. It was less expensive
Right.
to build. But when I bought it, I liked it. So I didn't do nothing to it for about a year.
Mhm.
I just drove it the way it was because I actually bought. I didn't build this car, which is the first for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so it was already had some shit. It was already cut and all that
It
when you
was
got it.
basic. It was basic. You
Okay.
know, it was basic. You know, I'm starting to put my imprint on it now. Like I didn't
Okay.
change the whole drivetrain, motor, tranny, rear end, all that stuff. For us rebuilding, and then I didn't change the trunk. You know, I put you know, it got a little heat in it now. You know,
Right. Right.
and for the paint, the only thing I ain't changed was the paint, which I kind of like the paint. I
Okay.
might just because it's real clean. It's this color that you can't get. I like that color, you know.
Right.
So I'll probably just touch it up a little bit and add some striping and leafing to it. Not too much, but just a little, you know, just to put my touch on it. You know, I
Right.
redid the music. I redid the music and everything. It's coming together. It's nice, you know. Chrome undies. It's
Mhm.
coming together. I'm gonna make it real hot because I like
Right.
to play on the switches. You know, like
Right.
you know, I like to pull up in
You
front of
still like
Cadillac.
you still like to hop a lot? You still like to hop
Yeah,
because I know some people you
yeah.
get a little old, first, the
Nah,
hopping,
I
okay,
still,
okay. He said,
well,
"Nah,
not as much as I used to, but I still like. Yeah, I'm a clown on them switches for sure. Yeah, yeah.
because I'm sure too, that's where a lot of the maintenance comes in, right? When you hopping a lot, because that's what be kind of tearing
True,
up shit, right? The hopping.
true. Yeah, but I mean, it's not like how it used to be because it ain't a lot of people that's really pulling up on you like back in the days in the early '90s and late '80s. You know, that's what everybody went out for to look for out. Now a lot of people go more for the more socializing and cruising right now. You
Right,
know,
right.
but for me, I'm gonna play with the car for sure. I ain't just gonna be out there not playing. I wasn't raised like that. I gotta play with that car. Yeah,
Right, and I'm glad you said that because I'm gonna ask you this too. Well, two things. Do you think people are really more reserved now with their stuff, with their switches, and like you
for
said, they
sure,
just want to look cute, opposed to
for
back in the
sure.
pulling up. Then I even heard Gangster say this, like, man, he said, when I bring my shit out, I'm putting it on the street. I ain't putting it on the flat. Like we rolling and we having fun and
Now
we
we
doing our
rolling. Yeah, we rolling. But see
yeah.
what it is, a lot of people don't play with their car as much as they did back in the days, is because back in the days, you know, what we was into, it didn't matter. You break it down. But
Right.
now you ain't living like that. So a lot of
Yeah.
people don't want to break their car because it's too
Right.
expensive to fit. So a lot of people ain't really clowning like that. And
Right.
then the cars, they like real clean these days too. So you know what I'm
Right.
saying, that they ain't really,
Yeah. Yeah.
doing it like that. But
I
for
get
me, I don't care. I'm gonna hit my switches. If I break, I'm gonna fix it. Cause
you. Right.
I work on my own shit. And if I, so
And what do you think about people too? I know some people, and they do have beautiful cars that put a lot of money and just kind of put it in the show, but don't put it on the street. Like, are you opposed? Like, how you feel about that? You know what I mean? I don't know what the point is if you
well,
can't ride, but I understand. But I don't.
I'm a big rider, so I ain't, I can't really, I don't knock a low rider. However they want to do what they do, that's what they do. But for me,
Right.
I'm a street low rider, so I'm gonna drive my shit
Right.
everywhere, So I'm not
Right. Right.
on the show circuit. I ain't never been on the show circuit, so I've been in
Right.
shows. I done had my cars in shows, but I ain't, nah. I'm a street low rider. I'm gonna drive my shit. I'm gonna have fun in it. I'm gonna do, what the average street low rider do in they shit. Have fun
Right.
and listen to some good music and cruise and clown on them switches. That's what I'm gonna do.
Right. Has there ever been a car? Well, you've been around many years, man, and seen it all. You know, when it comes to these low riders and cars, pretty cars, nice cars. Has there ever been a favorite to you that has stuck out in all these years, or maybe a few that just like, man, this car right
That's
here,
so many.
never like it,
It's
and
so
ain't nothing.
many. It's just it's too many to name. Like right now,
Okay.
it's a gang of clean cars out there, man. It's too many, man. It's a lot of cars, man. It's too many.
How about
It's
back
a
in the
lot
day? Was there any car that was
of
just
okay.
had it
Well,
like?
back in the day, I mean, you like the guys I named, like Folsom,
Gotcha.
uh, Terry Tarzan, Gangster, uh, Turtle, JJ, Tweet, uh,
Tweet.
Ronald Wing, uh, Big Huncho, man, there's a lot of Zeus, rest in peace, man, it's a lot of people that had cars back then. Dale Dog, even he had,
Yeah.
Kool-Aid and all them from
Yeah.
Maine, you
Right.
know. There's a lot of people that had some cars, man. Man, a lot of
Wow.
people had cars.
Wow. Um. Wow. And I know it's a lot of car. I know nowadays it's a lot more car. People just it's a lot of new clubs. How does that?
Oh yeah,
Can you
it's like
just make?
cars.
How does
Seem
that
like
work?
car, seem like man, it seem like car clubs start every day. That's what I'm saying. For its popularity, I think, man, it's not his all time high. I think Lowrider, that's my opinion, but I think Lowrider at his all time high, man. You got a lot of people with a lot of cars. Like, man, it's just so many clubs and so many cars out there right now that's clean too. So
Right. Right.
I
What do you
forgot to
think?
shout out my boy Punchy too, man.
Oh,
He
Punchy.
been yeah, he been low ride with me a long time too, man.
Shout
Oh,
out to
Punch.
Punchy.
Yeah.
Punchy. He talk a lot of shit. He be him and I know he be he how do I mean that too is that just a thing with people I know back in the day they did it a
Yeah,
lot.
back in the day, that's all we did.
But someone
We
mistake
talk
that
shit.
for some people would if they just onlookers would mistake that and think, man, something about to go. 'Cause, they talk a lot of
Nah,
trash.
it was all in fun and love. It was all in, it was all fun and love. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what's up. That's what's up. Like you said, it's at an all time high. So I was going to ask you, what do you see the future for low riding? But like you said, I think it's at all time high. It's just going to get bigger and better. And it seems like now a lot of even though a lot of the youngsters didn't appreciate it stuff of recent years, it seems like they are starting to do that now more so. I don't know. So
It seemed like to me like they like the scene,
yeah,
but they want to come in the other cars. They
right,
want to come in. They like the low rider scene.
right,
That's what I see. But they ain't really into the low riding. They just like the scene and they gonna come, burn rubber and do they donuts or whatever. They like the scene. I don't think they like low riders.
Right. I got you.
Just,
Got you.
it's a few. That's not all of them, but the majority of
Got you. Got you.
them.
Got you. uh, so yeah, we got my man Benny Smith here, Compton for Life Car Club. What's the future for Compton for Life, man? What you guys got anything coming up or any stuff you want to
Next
talk
year,
about?
yeah, next year we planning. Actually, man, since I've been home, we ain't even had our own picnic yet because it just trying to get because, like I said, for as our club is not so political, and
Right.
we just be trying to work with people. So, for as collecting dues and all that, we don't charge a lot of dues. So it's taking a little longer for us to get to where we want to get to do our annual. So actually, we having our annual next year. Content for
Okay.
Life. We having our annual picnic next year, 26, because it's it took a minute, but it's getting where it's supposed to be.
Okay. That's
But
dope.
we do have like events for us, like we having a softball game this year. We had a kickball game like a few years back.
Oh,
You
you took it
know,
back to kickball. Wow.
yeah,
I
yeah,
used to
and
kick kid.
we for the community, we give out we feed the community. We
Right.
uh we give out clothes and stuff like that. We do backpack giveaways for school supplies for the kids. We do little stuff when we can, when everybody is available or whatnot. But yeah, we got a couple of things on the calendar this year for us, like
Right.
events. But for us, our
That's
annual
right.
picnic,
That's right.
we're gonna be ready for next year. That's what we shooting for. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So be on the lookout. Y'all follow the homie at BK_1. Oh, let me ask you this. One more thing. You've been around a long time and you've seen a lot of different scenes. I'm sure there's a lot of different times or places people cruise at now is mainly Broadway and stuff. But what were some of your favorite spots to cruise at? I know there's a lot of Crenshaw's and Broadway, Maine, Florence, Compton, and Whittier,
Well,
everywhere. What were some of your favorite spots to cruise?
man, it ain't nothing like Crenshaw, man. Crenshaw, I have to say, be my first, and then I want to say Santa Fe was good.
Okay.
Long Beach Boulevard was good back in
Long
the
Beach Book.
day.
Okay.
That was good. Broadway is cool, when they don't got all that. Like I said, all the burnout stuff and all that. It's cool. I liked it Hill Street too. It was kind of cool for us now.
Right, right, right.
For us now, I kind of liked it Hill, but I don't
It
know.
seems like they be trying to bring Crenshaw back a little bit, but it don't stick like Broadway and stuff. I would
Well,
prefer. Go ahead.
that's because they only allow a certain day out the month for Crenshaw, and then they
Oh,
only
okay.
allowed a certain many hours. So that's why. But you notice on that first Sunday, it do crack on that
Yeah,
bad boy, but
that's that's
it
what I
just
noticed.
it's not long enough. So
Right.
Broadway is, basically is where it's at. You
Yeah.
know, I don't know, man. I'm thinking about making a suggestion to a few clubs or just the lowrider community, period, because you got Broadway in May, you know?
Right.
So my thing is let's open up both streets, and so that way the traffic keep flowing. You know what I'm saying? If it ain't enough parking on this street, you got that street. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that
Right.
way the police really wouldn't have too much to say because we could just keep it going. Like back in the days when we used to cruise Hollywood, right? We used to cruise North Hollywood. They didn't allow you to get out. Like
Right.
basically you couldn't get out and just park it. You had to keep it moving.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, they wanted you to keep it moving. They didn't want you to get out and stop
Yeah.
traffic and all that. But as long as you did that, you was cool.
Traffic anyway.
Right. And the people that really like to cruise their car, because you got some people like to socialize, get out, park, socialize, kick it, whatever. Then you got some people that just like to cruise their cars. But my thing is, you should leave it open for both. Study,
Right.
blocking the streets and traffic and all that. Make it where the cars could keep moving. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. I agree. I agree. Cruising Hollywood. Hollywood was the shit, yeah, back in the day.
Yeah,
Let me
I
ask
forgot
you this
about.
too. Yeah, Hollywood used to crack.
Yeah, we used to have fun back then at North
Hey, let me
Hollywood.
ask you this. Does it take a time like back in the day? I know now the batteries are made different. You could supercharge them up. You got a lot of more time. But back in the day, did it take like levels to learn your switches, how to hit them, the batteries? Because you could be out there in the streets and burn your shit out. Batteries be dead. Like, how did you learn? How do you learn to do that?
For me, man, that first car I told you that I bought from Arlie's,
Right,
man, when I first got that car, I didn't know nothing about switches. I could raise it up and that's it. So one
right.
day I was rolling through Compton, I was rolling through Santana Block, and I was going up Spring, and the big homie Turtle, rest in peace. He flagged me down. He flagged me down one day and was like, "Little, what's up, little homie?" He was like, "Show me what you got." And I'm like, "Man, big homie, I ain't even gonna lie, I don't even know how to hop this car yet." He was
Right,
like, he told me he, at the time it's this family that lived on Spring called the Newton. He used to be over the Newton's house, which is some Rudy Newton, Rodney Newton, and Peaches. I grew up with them. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So it's like we played sports together. I used to spend nights over there, the whole nine. But anyway, he used to be over there. So he told me to bag the car up in the driveway, and he showed me how to hop the car. He showed me the rhythm, and and he told me to go home, put it on the grass, charge the batteries up, put it on the grass, and do that. And I went home, charged my batteries up, and I put it on the grass, and I did what he told me. And at that time, Saturdays was cracking at the skate depot.
right.
So that weekend, I was hopping my car, man. So Turtle taught me how to hop my. He actually Turtle is the one that taught me how to hit my switches.
Wow. That's a
Yeah,
legendary. Something gotta ask you that. That's a legendary story right there, man.
and it's something I never forget. You know. Yeah.
Wow, wow, man. Rest in peace, Turtle, man. It seems like he had a lot of influence on people. You know what I mean in the city back in
Oh,
the
yeah.
day.
Man,
Uh,
Turtle,
right,
man. You know, even though I wasn't from Santana, man, I ain't got nothing but good things and good memories with Turtle for us inside and out. Because I was also locked up with him in the
okay,
Crook Mine. And
okay.
he always was the same. Turtle always was the same.
Right.
Good guy. That was a good guy right there for sure.
That's all I hear. You know, I'm way young. All I hear is good stuff about that dude, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
From
yeah,
wherever someone's from, you know,
yeah. That, yeah,
that's the
yeah.
difference
Turtle.
too. I'm saying that back in the day with pose of the day, like you had cats, no matter where you from, you had certain respect, and it was I don't know, you know what I mean? It's different, man.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah, it's
mm,
totally different now. That's what
mm.
I've been meaning about for is like respecting yourself and respecting your G's. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
For the people that came before you. You
right,
know, that took you a long way back then, you know?
right, right.
Right.
Wow. Man, we got the homie Benny here, Compton for Life Car Club. Any people you want to shout out or show love from the club or anything else? I think we touched on everything. We gave them some good history, talked some good stories tonight. You know what I mean? I know it's late. I don't want to hold you too much, man. But anything else you want to speak on? Any shout outs you want to give, brother?
Yeah, man. I want to shout out all my all my Content for Life brothers and sisters. And I especially want to shout out the first lady, which is my wife, Mookie. She got a birthday tomorrow. So
Happy birthday, Mo.
all you Content for Life that's available. I'm expecting to see y'all tomorrow if it don't rain on the boulevard. We will be out celebrating the first lady birthday. But I want to shout but I want to shout out no, the Sunday is her birthday. I'm sorry, the 27th. I take that back.
Okay.
Sunday.
Happy birthday.
But I want to shout out, the Compton Majestic, SoCal, all the PE, Supernatural, all they know who they are that I mess with. Yeah, that's them, everybody. you know,
Right.
and all the Lowrider
Yeah.
community. I want to shout them all out.
That's right. That's right. So Sunday, y'all got to show up for Mook's birthday. You know, show some love. Shout out to Compton for Life Car Club. Is I see a lot of y'all in here tonight, man, showing love for the big homie. So we thank
That's
you
what's
all for
up.
coming out tonight, man. We had a beautiful time, man. Much love to this guy right here, man. Man, I thank you, man, for coming on my platform, man, sharing your story and talking about this good culture right here, man. It's always good to hear. I loved it. I just love to hear from my bigger homies, man, and get some love and knowledge, and a lot of the stuff we're missing today, man. So I love for people to come on like yourself and talk about this, and I love the low riding community as well. So to get some history on that, hear some legendary stories you told us, man. It was beautiful, brother. So I thank you, man, for coming
For
on
sure. I
tonight.
appreciate you having me too, man. You know,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So anything else you want to leave the people with in closing?
not really. Just uh, much love to everybody and respect, and man, keep that low riding culture going. You know what I'm saying?
That part. That part. My brother, man, Mr. Benny Smith, aka BKay. Follow him right now on IG, BKKAY_9. Is that it, right?
Right. B_KAY. Right.
Right there. Follow the homie, man. Much love and respect. Again, thank you, man. And we'll be talking soon, man. I love to do this again, man, to chop it up, but I'm gonna be in touch with you, man. So thank
All
you
right.
again. And shout out to my producer, DD Hairston, for hooking this up and making it happen. And shout out to all the lowrider community out there, man. Much love. Keep it low. Keep it slow and low, man. Much love,
Right.
everyone. We out of here, y'all. Much love and respect. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. We got the 5th annual G-Lew show reunion tomorrow night, man. Everyone, if you know, you know. Pull up. See you guys tomorrow. Much love, respect. Shout out to our guest again. And we out of here, y'all. Friday Night Live. Peace.